Hi, Alan Sides here again, and I'm going to answer a couple of questions. And this one is from Cannabis. Um, and the question is, how much difference does the wire make between the amplifier and the loudspeaker? And the answer to that is that it definitely makes a difference. But I think you have to be careful because what you spend on wire does not necessarily reflect how it performs. This is what I found. And we as a manufacturer, and as of course as an audiophile engineer myself, I've listened to a ton of different cables. And there's a German manufacturer that makes a particularly great cable we like, which we use on our loudspeakers. But by way of reference, we were doing a high-end audiophile show in Chicago. And we partnered with a company called AGD that makes some spectacular amplifiers that we use with our audiophile loudspeakers. Anyway, we set the whole room up, and at the last minute we realized we'd forgotten the cables. The cables were sitting back at the office at Ocean Way Audio. So I said, we're on an audio show. I'm sure we can find someone to loan us some cables. So we walked down the hallway, and there was a wire manufacturer that we knew, and they loaned us a set of speaker wires that were a pair of 12-foot cables that sold for $14,000. So we brought those back, we hooked those up, but actually before we'd gone on that search, we'd gone out to Home Depot and bought 24 feet of basically 12 gauge multi-strand copper welding wire, which we tended the ends, and we had that as well. So we got back to the room, we listened to the $14,000 cables, and it sounded okay. And then for reference, we switched that out to our Home Depot cables. And I think to all of our surprise, the Home Depot cables sounded significantly better than the $14,000 cables. The interesting thing is when we got back to LA, we hooked up the system and we did a direct comparison between the German cables that we use for our system and the Home Depot cables. And what we found is that although our German cables were clearly better than the Home Depot cables, it was maybe only 8% difference, not a huge difference. So the other thing I'll point to make, which is very important, is keep the cable length short. The shorter length the cables, the better it's going to sound. The longer the cable lengths, the more likely you get capacitance to cause high frequency issues, or a loss of low end definition and damping because of the cable length, or the wire not being big enough for the low end. So I hope this is of some value to you, and thanks for listening.